but you have God of War, Burnout. Oh my God, Burnout 3 was spectacular. The best. Now,
so fun.
Just for giggles, I always like to compare it to, how about the PlayStation 5?
Oh.
So when I say the Atari 2600, does that make you feel really, really old? Like, that's an old console.
Yeah. Yeah.
Labs, do you even know what the Atari 2600 is?
Yeah, it's a video game console.
Good guess. Because I said it.
But we've talked about it before. I've never played one.
You should.
You should. It'd be great. And
I mean, Atari console, Craig, and then I'll play.
Well, you can just do it on emulation. But
okay,
the PlayStation 2 is now older than the Atari 2600 was when the PlayStation 2 was launched. That's how long it's been.
Yep.
How's that make you feel, Garrett?
Bro, I remember walking to the game store, up and down, 10 miles both ways. Coke was a nickel. Saved up pocket change just to get me a PS2. Didn't even have a memory card. That's how poor I was. Didn't have a memory card, just played the same opening level of Kingdom Hearts 15 times in a row.
Well, the PlayStation 2 release date was March 4th, 2000 in Japan.
Good Lord.
October 26th, 2000 in North America. And the Atari 2600 release date was, to put that in perspective, was September 11th, 1977. It's like they knew something. Jeez. So 1977. That is, golly.
Wow.
That is so there was
same year Star Wars came out.
Right. There's 23 years between the release of the Atari 2600 and the PlayStation 2. Think about that. And since the PlayStation 2, there's been 25 years since.
Look at the innovation between those 2 years. Like the Atari and PlayStation 2 and then PlayStation 2 and now. There's been a lot of innovation between PlayStation 2 and now, but not as much as Atari and PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, if you go back and you play some PlayStation 2 games, some of them still hold up. I would say that most Atari 2600 games, they
nostalgia's kicking in on some of those.
Right.
For sure.
Do you have a favorite PlayStation 2 game? And that's the question for you guys today.
Ooh.
Best PlayStation 2 game. Blabs, I'm going to start with you first because you don't even know what a PlayStation 2 is. Just kidding.
First of all, I do, but
I'm just kidding.
I never had a PlayStation 2.
Of course you did.
So I had a PlayStation 1 and then it died. And then I moved on to Nintendo Wii.
A lot of good options in the chat. A lot of good ones.
Allow me to kind of throw out some games for you here. This is courtesy of Metacritic. The number 1 rated game on the PlayStation 2 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I was an Underground guy. I like the Underground too.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite.
Grand Theft Auto 3. San Andreas. Obviously. Metal Gear Solid 2. We also had, think about this. We had Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, San Andreas, and 3. All released on the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
That's crazy. Devil May Cry.
PsyOps, dude. I love PsyOps back in the day.
The original God of War and God of War 2. SSX. Oh, man, I loved
Tricky.
SSX. Yes. Okami. The original Okami, man. That's some great stuff right there. Soul Calibur 2. Remember Soul Calibur 2? How there's exclusive characters?
Yeah, each console there was like Yoda and Link and Spawn.
Yes.
Xbox got Spawn.
Yes.
Dude, so cool.
Prince of Persia games, Final Fantasy 12, Guitar Hero got started on the PlayStation 2.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and Rock Band, I believe, right? Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank, Shadow of Colossus.
Ratchet and Clank, that's one of the OGs. I love that game. Sly Cooper. I think my favorite would be I'm gonna have to pick 2. Favorite is Spider-Man 2, because that game is just peak superhero game, and Kingdom Hearts. That's just like that was the first game I ever got when I got the PS2. That's what I went and got it for, was for that game. And it still holds up. Played it last year. Still holds up.
I got this list
This
from
game-
Metacritic. Oh, look at you. Do you
on
just
my desk right now.
I
Because I've
appreciate
been
that
playing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like that you just have the Punisher next to you at all times.
I have my PS3 that's backwards compatible because I got the first gen right here, so I've been playing it.
I love that. Like, you just have a game next to you. Like everybody
Yeah,
just has
there
a
you go.
random
Yeah.
game.
Just within arm reach. I got Gauntlet over here.
Oh,
for the
nice.
N64.
Blabs, do you have a game next to you?
I have a bunch of games next to me. All my
let's go.
stuff is right here, and Monkey Balls is still in here.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to take a look at this, and I like stopping down for these silly conversations here. We have this list of the best PlayStation 2 games here, and this is the third page here. And let's just take a look at this first page here. I mentioned a lot of these games.
Killers.
All-time classics. All-time classics. And this is obviously the peak of Madden for a lot of folks.
Yes.
Yeah. But you have God of War, Burnout. Oh my God, Burnout 3
Oh,
was
yeah, dude.
spectacular. The best. Now,
So fun.
just for giggles, I always like to compare it to, how about the PlayStation 5?
Oh.
So Elden Ring, obviously, right? Baldur's
But not
Gate.
exclusives.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all pretty.
Astrobot is like the only exclusive one there, but I feel like Astrobot's on Steam now. isn't
God of
it?
War. That was pretty good.
With all due respect, I've never played Tetris Effect Connected, but if Tetris Effect Connected is in your top 10 games on your console,
Yeah.
just throwing it out there. I don't know,
Yeah.
that's all. So, all right. So there we go. Just a nice little comparison for everybody. But
Yeah, my opinion is PS2 was peak. Like they had the most stacked set of exclusives on that. I know Xbox has Halo and stuff like that, but PS2 freaking so good. That whole genre. I mean, maybe it's because that's when I was like a young teenager, got my own money, could buy my own games, so I was like really getting into it at that point. But like the games that came out during that generation on all three consoles, so good, so good, and they still hold up.
I actually really liked when consoles had like this sort of port exclusive. So like each console and PC had the game, right? But it was slightly different depending on the PC. And I liked that because you could always have like more of the same game. To me, that was really fun as a kid.
You saw that a lot on specifically going back even further on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. You'd have a game of the same title, but the game would be entirely different. I think of like Aladdin, right? There was a Genesis version of Aladdin and a Super Nintendo version, and there's still debates today over them, right?
Yeah.
Which version was better?
Sega.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. But first, let's get some of y'all's thoughts on this. Emperor Creatine says, I think the biggest reason PS2 sold so many units was because it doubled as a DVD player. Average price of a DVD player in 2000 was $670.
Yeah.
PS2 was $299. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Marty says, I can't just pick one game from the PS2 library. Jesus. The Dot Hack series, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. There's too many.
Metal Gear, like it was bangers all around. We were with a glut of greatness back in the day.
Yes. Jerry Rare, good to see you. Says my favorite PS2 game is the Sly Cooper trilogy. Let's go. Foreigner says best PS2 game. It's Shadow of the Colossus. Come on.
How do you pick, Brad? There's so many.
Eric came in and says we had GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas on the PS2, and GTA 5 on the PS3, 4, and PlayStation 5. What happened to game development? Let him know, Eric. Tell him about it. Marius says I have an Atari 2600 and a fat PS2 in my collection, hooked up and playable. Nothing beats playing on an actual console. Hell yes. Scrap Gamer says don't forget the imports. PS1 to PS2 and PSP to PS2 games. A lot of good imports.